On FM, online and on your mobile, Uckfield FM.
26 minutes now to 11 o'clock. I'm joined now by Laura Murphy from Wayfinder Women. Good morning, Laura.
Morning.
Wayfinder Women. What's that all about? You're actually, as you described yourself, an executive coach, which I always find those sorts of words and terms a little bit strange, really, but I guess it's just use of language. What is it? Two things. What is Wayfinder Women and what is an executive coach?
Okay, Wayfinder Women, it's a group that's developed over the past few months, actually, about supporting women in the workplace and having a mutual support community. And this has come about because I've been coaching for a number of years. And what an executive coach does is you get called into an organisation because there's issues within the workplace, and basically you work with the people to help them sort out what the problems are and to get over them so they can perform better in work or improve their career prospects or get promotion, or in some cases decide, well, no, this isn't the right place for me, I want to move on, or I want to set my own business up.
Well, can people not work these things out for themselves, though?
Sometimes they can, and that's brilliant. That's good because they've got the inner resources to do it. Other times they can't because they're so engrossed in it. It's that phrase, you can't see the wood for the trees. Yeah, so they get so engrossed in it. They need someone to come from outside that can help give them a different perspective on what's happening.
So you go in and help people. Is this more for the employers or for the employee?
It can be either. It depends on what level you get called in. So I work with people that run their own businesses that aren't too sure where they want to take them. On the other hand, I've worked with individuals that have been newly promoted to be managers, don't know how to manage their staff, get really frustrated and annoyed with themselves or angry, and so I can come in and help the employer as well.
That's more training, though, isn't it, that's required if you've got somebody who's been promoted to a manager and can't actually manage their staff. I mean, it's not an easy skill. I do appreciate managing people, but surely it's about, getting some decent training, isn't it?
It's a combination, because you can have all of the management training in the world and still be an appalling manager because you just haven't got the inner skill sets. You don't understand yourself enough, or perhaps you don't understand the staff and the impact you have on the staff. So it's about working with you as an individual to help you understand that and to be able to perhaps understand what your management style is, the tone of language you use, the impact that you have with people. How you walk through an office can be very oppressive, or on the other hand, it can be very welcoming.
Now, wouldn't it be fair to say, though, that the things you're talking about here are applicable to both men and to women?
They are, and I don't work exclusively with women. However, over the past couple of years, women have been coming to me saying that things aren't improving in the workplace for women, despite all the advances there's been over the past few years and the legislation and everything else. There's still a lot of sexism in the workplace. There's still a lot of bullying and domineering within the workplace. And a lot of women just don't have the self-confidence to be able to either stand up for that or to be able to go off and do things on their own. And the Wayfinder Club was first set up because I ran a coaching session, a free coaching session, and afterwards the woman was saying to me, I really enjoyed that. It was so good to know that other women feel exactly the way that I do, and then I'm not alone. I'm not the only person to feel like this. So that's why I set up the Wayfinder Club. And then people were saying to me from all over the county, I want to come to the club, but I can't, it's too far away. So that's when we decided to take it online, and we set up a community fund to get a website built to take it online, and that was only end of October, beginning of November. We set that up. Through the community, we raised just over £3,000. Went to a social enterprise that was set up by a woman who'd been made redundant less than a year ago, and she had lottery funding to train other young women how to build websites. And so we've had a young girl called Jane, who's built the website in less than 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. So it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
And what we want is for people to go to the website wayfindawoman.com, to, if they're a Facebook type of person, to like the Facebook page and just to get engaged and build this support community, so we can share experiences, we can share hints and tips, we can share inspirational videos that we've seen.
It's a very female sort of thing, this, isn't it, really? Because you when you talk about sharing experiences, you're talking about work and workplace experiences and getting on at work. And it seems to be very much a female thing rather than a male thing, because you don't hear of this sort of thing for men, do you?
No, and there is an argument that there should be something for men, particularly for young boys as well, because there's fewer boys that go to university, for example. And I have sympathy with that. But as far as the women are concerned, there is still an awful lot of society pressure to play the female role, to be meek and not to stand up for yourself. And there's 2.4 million women that want to work that can't work. There's over 1 million women that want to do extra hours that can't do extra hours because of family responsibilities, because they're not being shared equally. If women set up businesses at the same rate as men, there'd be 1 million more small businesses set up within the year. And there's been so many studies around that recognise the importance of women in regenerating the British economy, in improving performance. If you bring a woman onto a board or a project team, the productivity and efficiency levels soar. There's been so many studies, because women bring a completely different skill set. And they bring a higher level of emotional intelligence to an organisation, to decision-making bodies, to businesses, to teams, to the workplace. And yet, women are still saying, I don't have the confidence to do this. And some women are saying, yes, I do hide behind the excuses about I've got an elderly parent to look after, or I've got children to look after, and they recognise that now, some of them. But they still need that support to take that next step and to actually stand up and say, yes, I can do this.
So really what you're saying is it's a confidence thing more than anything else, because from where I sit, I mean, and I'm all for total and absolute equality, but I'm also a believer in the best person for the job.
Yeah. And
we get, certainly in politics, you've got the Labour Party with their selection process being geared to there are some all-women shortlists and stuff. And
last time
and that the Conservatives have actually decided that's not a route to go down. What's your thought on that kind of discrimination? You know, positive discrimination, if it can be called that.
I'm in two minds about it, to be quite honest.
Because what you've described really is pretty much that. Because you're saying that, you know, with women on boards and stuff, the emotional level gets raised, and productivity and all the rest of it. What makes women so different and so special that happens?
Well, there's lots of neuroscience studies that can help pick out why those skills are more prevalent in women than men. And I think it very much depends across the industries as well, and the professions. And you were talking about the politics. If you look at the construction industry, for example, there's very few women that manage to get to senior levels within the construction industry. It's very much a male-dominated industry.
That's always been the case, isn't it? Because, you know, women have never really been seen too much as builders, basically.
Yeah, except that they are, and they do have the same creative flair that male architects have, but because of the...
But it's not just the architects, it's the actual physical building, and the heavy work was never seen as something that women do. The one that I find very strange, however, is in the catering trade, when allegedly nearly all of the top chefs are men. I find that extraordinary, when if you look at the average household, the one who does most of the cooking is the woman.
Yes.
I find that extraordinary.
Yeah.
How does that balance up?
Well, let's go back to the building industry. Yes, traditionally it's been seen as male-dominated because of the physical effort that's required. However, when you look at Russia during their revolution, the number of women that went into construction and building, and with the way that the advances, the technological advances now within the construction industry, the issues around strength and are not so much of a problem. When you come to the catering side of things, you get an enormous number of women that are in the lower levels within the catering industry. But as you say, when you get up to the level of chefs, it appears to be more male dominated. Now, is that actually the case, or is that just how the media presents it? There's the media bias towards reporting on men and their achievements, whereas when they report on women, they report on how they look, not on their achievements.
We're coming down to old stereotypes, aren't we, really? Which is obviously what you're trying to eradicate.
Yes, very much so. And because women are facing those stereotypes within the workplace, they have that to combat, that external pressure to combat, as well as their own internal pressures, their own internal views of how they should behave. They should be as women, rather than what they actually want to be.
See, I find it extraordinary. The press, I think, and the media have a large part to play in all of this, because I said, really, it should be down to sort of best ability is the one that gets the job. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female. If you are capable of doing the job and you are the better person for doing that job, then you should surely get that job. And same with almost anything else, you know, in terms of the differences between the sexes, because whichever way we go, we've got to get to the same point, haven't we?
I completely agree with you on that, and that would work if the balance of scales was balanced properly, but it's not. You've got so many more weights on the female side.
Why? Because the media actually keep you've got so many women's magazines that say you've got to look like this, you've got to look like that, you've got to wear this, you've got to wear that. I mean, surely that's the fault of the media, and a lot of the media, of course, is driven by women.
There's also a big movement to say the media are doing it wrong. Let's stop airbrushing photos of women. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and that emphasis on how a woman looks, the sorts of behaviours she should have, that's what we're challenging through Wayfinder Woman, and through a whole host of other organisations as well. When you look at engineering, you look at the IT industry, in the sciences, the number of women that go into science, technology, engineering and maths is a very small proportion of the total.
In this country?
In this country.
In other countries, they're way ahead of us, aren't they?
They are, because they have a very different social attitude towards the role of women in the workplace.
Now, the other thing you've got, which I think is actually quite striking, you've got on your website, you've got Wayfinder Women, you've got a logo. Most organisations have a logo. You have a logo, and there's this sketch drawing of a woman. Now, it's also on the T-shirt that you're wearing as well, which I understand is the work of a 16-year-old.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's Joanna Fawkes. She's a highly, highly talented young woman. She was introduced to me by my sister. Just happened to see a painting that she'd put on her Facebook page, which I asked to buy because I was so impressed by it, and she wasn't allowed to because it was her GCSE portfolio.
That's GCSE portfolio work, is it?
It is.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was telling my sister about the book that I was writing, and she said, well, ask Joanna to do the illustrations for you. So I did, and she's done a number of illustrations, designed what we call Every Woman.
It's brilliant, I have to say. It's absolutely, I'm looking at a copy of the book now, and there are sort of copies, the little illustrations are all over the place. They're absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, she's so talented, and what I really love about it is that she's excited about the fact that this was her first commission, so she's using it to do her university applications as well, and it's just, we've been able to help launch her career, which I think is just absolutely wonderful for Joanna. She's so talented, and I can't praise her highly enough.
Yeah, well, that's it. We're entering a world where I don't think the your gender actually matters too much, does it? Really, in the art world, it's a case of that's the work
right.
you've done, and it stands up on its own, doesn't it? Really,
it's done on meritocracy, and you don't have the social pressures that on the genders that you do have within other industries and professions.
Well, let's hope they break them down just a bit. Really, I think.
That's what
they need to.
That's what Wayfind a Woman wants to do. What we want is for women to get engaged with the website and with the Facebook, to tell us what their experiences are within the workplace, to tell us what it is they want, how we can help them, how we can build up this support community to help women achieve what they want to achieve.
I mean, really, what you're doing actually does require some political involvement as well, doesn't it? Really, to actually break down these barriers, because I mean, there are all sorts of laws that are out there to actually prevent discrimination and all of the things you're talking about, but it sounds like some of them need to be tweaked a little bit.
There are lots of laws out there already, and I don't know if we need any more. I'd hate to have more laws.
I didn't say any more laws. I'm saying tweaking the ones that we've actually got, because clearly things haven't progressed as quickly as they should have done.
They haven't progressed, and I think that's also down to education as well, education of the employer and of the workforce themselves, and educating women as to actually you are capable of doing this, and with the right level of support, you can achieve, you can have that promotion, you can run that business, you can be the next Richard Branson or whatever it is you want to be.
Interesting prospect, being the next Richard Branson. Is anybody wanting to get in touch with you? Obviously, can do it via your website at wayfinder.com.
Wayfinderwoman.com.
Beg your pardon, wayfinderwoman.com. Sorry, yes. I missed the woman bit out, didn't I?
Wayfinderwoman.com. Facebook is Wayfinderwoman as well, and Twitter is at Wayfinderwoman.
Yeah. Do you find they actually help the social media networks? Because some people just aren't used to them.
No, they're not, and it's something that I resisted for a very long time, and so I'm learning it, and it's very good at making contacts. Definitely Twitter, we're making some really good contacts with other women through Twitter.
Yeah, and with the end result obviously being that hopefully things will sort of level themselves out. So what are you going to do with all of the information when you get it?
Anything that comes through we will put on Facebook and on the website. There's a resources page, and say the website is a work in progress.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is to have this repository where you can go to for any type of support. So it will be blogs, articles, videos, science papers, anything that women have found has helped them, so we can put it onto the website. We can get conversations going through Facebook as well. So and if women have got particular issues in the workplace, then we can start that conversation, but if it becomes a bit more confidential, we can have a private members forum.
How's this being I mean, because this is a free service, this, isn't it?
It is free, yes.
How is it going to be funded longer term?
Longer term, again, this is sort of exploded within the last month, so it's quite exciting, but scary at the same time. Longer term, we've set Wayfinder Woman up now as the early stages for a social enterprise. So we'll be looking for grants to help develop the website, but also to run seminars, to run workshops, support groups around the county, and then
you're going to be competing with an
regionally.
awful lot of people for not a lot of money, aren't you?
We are, but we've got a strong case, and as I said earlier, the government has recognised that women are the key to driving the economic regeneration of the country. So, and they're sorely underrepresented within the workplace. Their skills are not being used as effectively as they could be. And there's a powerful, powerful voice here with women. If we can get together, then we can make things so much better for ourselves and for the men as well.
And anybody wanting your book, here's your chance to have your plug. Your book.
Yes, it's Wayfinder Woman, 52 Routes to Inner Health and Self-Confidence. It's a self-help, dip-in, dip-out type of book. You can use it as a workbook, a diary with some inspirational phrases and activities in there as well. And that can be obtained through the website, wayfinderwoman.com.
And of course, it's got the illustrations in it as well.
And it's got the wonderful illustrations by Joanna Fox.
Yeah. $9.99, that. How can they get hold of it? via the website.
Yes, or they can get in touch with me directly.
Okay. Well, I think we're a little wiser now as to to the ways of things. Do wish you every success with this because it's obviously still fairly new.
Yes, it's very new.
Right. I hope anybody that needs to gets in touch with you for now.
Yeah.
Laura Murphy, thank you so much.
Thank you.